Episode 77 Chameleon, a short story by Anton Chekov. Police Inspector Ochumelov crossed the marketplace in a new greatcoat, holding a bundle in his hand. After him strode a red-haired constable, carrying a sieve filled to the brim with confiscated gooseberries. All around was silence. There was not a soul in the marketplace. The open doors of small shops and taverns gaped drearily out at God's world, like so many hungry jaws. There were not even any beggars standing near them. All of a sudden, the sound of a voice came to Ochumelov's ears. "So you would bite, would you, you cur? Don't let it go, lads. Biting is not allowed nowadays. Hold it! Ouch!" A dog's whine was heard. Ochumelov glanced in the direction of the sound, and this is what he saw. A dog came running out of the timber yard of the merchant Pishugin on 3 legs, pursued by a man in a starched print shirt and an unbuttoned waistcoat, his whole body bent forward. The man stumbled and caught hold of the dog by one of its hind legs. There was another whine, and again a shout of, "Don't let it go!" Drowsy faces were thrust out of shops, and in no time a crowd which seemed to have sprung out of the earth had gathered around the timber yard. "Looks like a public disturbance, Your Honor," said the constable. Ochumelov turned and marched up to the crowd. Right in front of the gate of the yard, he saw the above-mentioned individual in the unbuttoned waistcoat, who stood there with his right hand raised, displaying a bleeding finger to the crowd. The words, "I'll give it to you, you devil," seemed to be written on his tipsy countenance, and the finger itself looked like a banner of victory. Ochumelov recognized in this individual Khairukin, the goldsmith. In the very middle of the crowd, its 4 legs well apart, sat the culprit, its whole body a tremble, a white borzoi pup, with a pointed nose and a yellow spot on its back. In its tearful eyes was an expression of misery and horror. "What's all this about?" asked Ochumelov, shouldering his way through the crowd. "What are you doing here? Why are you holding up your finger? Who shouted?" "I was walking along, Your Honor, as quiet as a lamb," began Khairukin, cuffing into his fist. "I had business about some wood with Mitri Mitrich here, and suddenly, for no reason whatever, that nuisance bit my finger. Excuse me, but I'm a working man. Mine is a very intricate trade. Make them pay me compensation. Perhaps I won't be able to move this finger for a week. It doesn't say in the law, Your Honor, that we have to put up with ferocious animals. If everyone's to start biting, life won't be worth living." Well, said Ochumelov severely, cuffing and twitching his eyebrows. Well, whose dog is it? I shan't leave it at this. I'll teach people to let dogs run about. It's time something was done about gentlemen who are not willing to obey the regulations. He'll get such a fine, the scoundrel. I'll teach him what it means to let dogs and cattle of all sorts rove about. I'll show him what's what. Elderin," he continued, turning to the constable, "find out whose dog it is and draw up a statement. And the dog must be exterminated without delay. It's probably mad. Whose dog is it, I ask?" "I think it belongs to General Zhigalov," said a voice from the crowd. General Zhigalov? Help me off with my coat, Elderin. Phew, how How hot it is. It must be going to rain. He turned to Khairukin. One thing I don't understand. How did it happen to bite you? How could it have got at your finger? Such a little dog, and you such a strapping fellow. You must have scratched your finger with a nail and then taken it into your head to get paid for it. I know you fellows, a set of devils you are. He burned the end of its nose with a lighted cigarette for a joke, Your Honor, and it snapped at him. It's nobody's fool. That Khairukin's always up to some mischief, Your Honor. Hey, none of your lies, Squinty. You didn't see me do it, so why lie? His Honor is a wise gentleman. He knows who's lying and who's telling a God's truth. May the justice of the peace try me if I'm lying. It says in the law, all men are equal now. I have a brother in the police myself, if you want to know. Khairukin, don't argue. Your Honor, that isn't the general's dog, remarked the constable profoundly. The general hasn't got a dog like that. All his dogs are pointers. Are you sure? Quite sure, Your Honor. And you are right. The general's dogs are expensive breed dogs, and this one, just look at it, ugly mangy cur. Why should anyone keep a dog like that? Are you crazy? If a dog like that were to find itself in Moscow or Petersburg, do you know what would happen to it? Nobody would worry about the law. It would be got rid of in a minute. You are a victim, Khairukin, and mind you, don't leave it at that. He must be taught a lesson. It's high time. Your Honor, perhaps it is the general's after all, said the constable, thinking aloud. You can't tell by looking at it. I saw one just like it in his yard the other day. Of course, it is the general's, came the voice from the crowd. Help me on with my coat, Eldarin. I felt a gust of wind. I'm shivery. Take it to the generals and ask them. Say I found it and sent it. And tell them not to let it into the street. Perhaps it's an expensive dog, and it will soon get spoiled if every brute thinks he can stick cigarettes into its nose. A dog's a delicate creature. And you put down your hand, blockhead. Stop showing everyone your silly finger. It's your own fault. Here comes the general's chef. We'll ask him. Hi there, Prokhor. Come here, old man. Have a look at this dog. Is it yours? What next? We've never had one like that in our lives. No need to make any more inquiries, said Ochumelov. It's a stray. What's the good of standing here talking? You've been told it's a stray, so a stray it is. Destroy it and have done with the matter. It isn't ours, continued Prokhor. It belongs to the general's brother, who came a short time ago. Our general takes no interest in bourgeois. His brother now, he likes. What? Has the general's brother come? Vladimir Ivanich? Exclaimed Ochumelov, an ecstatic smile spreading over his features. Fancy that, and I didn't know. Come to stay? That's right, said Prokhor. Just fancy. Wanted to see his brother, and I didn't know. So it's his dog. Very glad. Take it. Take it. It's a nice little doggy. Snap at his finger. Come now, don't tremble. The little rascal's angry. What a pup. Prokhor called the dog and walked out of the timber yard with it. The crowd laughed at Khairukin. I'll have you yet. Ochumelov threatened him, and wrapping his greatcoat round him, he continued his way across the marketplace.